music feels good. I don't want to be the one between your ice cream and lunch, but I must say it's quite stressful to be less boring. Interesting topic, and actually, the way we fashioned this topic was inspired by one of our earlier CEOs of L'Oréal, François Dalle, who had this saying that we need to seize what is starting. And that has been a huge source of, I would say, impetus for the L'Oréal Group on our focus on innovation, and not only product innovation, but in the way we are dealing with, anything digital, anything AI, and, putting ourselves in the heart of consumers' journey. So I thought that, it's been a while since we have followed this motto of seizing what is starting, but so many things are changing today. It is now about seizing what has not started more than anything else. And of course, that makes us less boring. Well, when we talk about what has, what's our philosophy been, and, this is the little bit of the corporate plug that most of us do, but I'm passionate about it, is the whole motto of L'Oréal is to create the beauty that moves the world. It's a very, very lofty, a beautiful vision statement. But what that means for us every day and how we translate that into our daily work is to bring the best of beauty to everyone, everywhere. And this is powerful because, again, like I said, this not only focuses on innovation, but it talks about how we are integrating ourselves with our consumers' needs and the places where our consumers are present today. So it's a bit of how we are adapting ourselves to the world. This is something I talk about quite a bit, and I call it the multiverse. We have a huge, I would say, diversity in consumers across the world. And when I say this diversity, it's not only talking about cultural or ethnic diversity, but also in the changing expectations in, depending on age, depending on gender, etc. For instance, for the first time maybe in the last 200 years, healthcare has evolved so much that longevity has increased quite a bit. And therefore, the expectations, everyone's talking about Gen Z and millennials and the changing landscape. But the one thing that's coming to the fore now is that with better healthcare, longevity is a huge thing in front of us. And, we're talking about boomers and, late Gen Xers having a lot more expectations of how they want to look, how they want to turn up, and what they want to do with their lives. There are so many discussions now on what's the right age to retire, for instance, and what does it really mean in each other's lives. So I guess that the consumer landscape is changing so much. And it's so diverse that the thinking that we have had so far in all these decades or years, or whatever has changed in the last 10 years even, is not going to get us into the next 20, 30 years. So the entire preparation for the future needs to be quite different. And honestly, that's a challenge for marketers, for companies everywhere. And when you look at this, this range of consumers, their expectations have changed. And that is because today, everything with the advancement of tech, everything from global trends to the latest in digital is available at your fingertips instantly all across the world at the same time, which again means that the adaptability that we need to have as marketers is changed immensely. We need to be less boring because there is no time lag in the amount of information that consumers can access. And which also means that we need to be present in their lives the way they need us. So it's becoming more and more consumer-centric rather than us talking to the consumer. And I think this is a big change, and most marketers don't even realize this. We are always trying to talk to consumers and saying, okay, how does our product fit in? But there is a way which is, the big thing to reconsider in today's tech age is the reverse, which is what is the consumer thinking and how can we add value to that part of the consumer's need or journey. So it is not about being digital, is not about marketing tactic, but to build authentic relationships, to understand cultural nuances, and to create personalized experiences that resonate with their aspirations. And this, is something that I think L'Oréal adopts as the heart of our philosophy. And Mary was telling me how we have quickly adopted this in the last, maybe in the last decade, and there's been a conscious effort to doing that. So, to meet these consumers where we are, the big strength that we rely on as an organization is our own DNA, which is innovation. And when I say innovation, this is not only product development, which we do quite a bit, but it is also about how we show up in the consumers' lives and how we immerse those digital AI beauty experiences into everything that we do. So we see innovation as a big impetus for growth rather than anything else. And the reason I'm sharing this is because each brand or company has its own DNA. So when you say you want to embrace the future and to seize what is not started, it is wise to look back and reflect on what your core DNA is. Ours is innovation and entrepreneurship. What is yours? And then how can you fit that to embrace and to seize what is not starting? Now, to come to some, L'Oréal examples, I would say that today with all this instant access to media and global trends and, whatever I spoke about, a big impact of that has been that the entire consumer journey has changed. A few years ago, people like you and me would be standing here and talking about a linear search journey. I go to booths, I look at products, I pick something up, I try, I buy. Or I go online to Google or to YouTube and look for what I'm missing in beauty, how to do my eyebrows, I learn and come back. Now, the consumer journey is most complex and totally non-linear, and is a mix of everything digital, in-store, recommendation, social. So it's more complex, and therefore, it requires brands to really level up the standards that we need to cater to. So what I have here, and what I'm going to take you through, are a series of L'Oréal examples where we as a company have navigated this changing consumer journey to bring out some superior execution and something that is new and different. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is on consumer relevance. So this is all about what we call insight to action. And there are millions of insights up there, and you just have to be on the platforms, listen to what your consumers are saying. I would say comments are the most important things, and we take a lot of time to understand what our consumers are telling us, and we act accordingly. So the first one is on hyper-relevance. The second one is on hyper-personalization, because again, there is a huge expectation on how your brand shows up, and education today is more important than anything else. And the last one is hyper-commerce, and this is important with the emergence of social commerce that has come in. So let's go to hyper-relevance. So this is an example from last year, from 2024, something we did on Garnier. And Garnier as a brand is quite young in terms of its consumer profile, And we had a great innovation on skincare, which was an SPF product. And we said, but how can we really make it very relevant to British consumers? Because typically when you look at the SPF season in the country, you see this huge, massive boom in the summer, and those summers where the sun is out more. And then there is a rapid drop. So it's very, very seasonal. But SPF in this changing world is about every day. So this is a case of how Garnier actually did something different, but at the same time connected to British consumers. And we'll talk through the results after.
We Brits, we're creatures of habit. With our tea breaks, our constant need to queue, saying sorry when we really mean move, our Sunday roasts, and healthy morning fry-ups, our sarcasm and match of the day, our favourite daytime TV, Sunday strolls, pub, and a G&T. Is it scones or scones? What is this weather? Our trusty brollies and meal deals at our desks. But for 90% of us, there is one habit still to crack. Daily SPF. Sun seekers, shorts lovers, fans of the t-shirt tan, you think that sunscreen throws shade on your healthy skin, but it's time for a rethink. So we went on a mission to get the people of Britain to wear SPF every day. With Garnier Vitamin C Daily UV for daily protection and glowing skin in all weather. We hit 722 sites across the UK and spread our message. Making healthy skin a true British habit.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just to show you the power of the insight behind it and how to be relevant. But obviously, this was accompanied by a huge launch, huge investments in advocacy and influence, and the results has been dramatic. So Garnier pretty much in the Nielsen universe became the #1 brand. There was a massive, massive word of mouth through TikTok and otherwise. And clearly we're very happy with what the team has done. But this also throws up the importance of listening to your consumers more than anything else, because even during this campaign, we kept getting feedback from influencers and regular consumers and kept tailoring our approach over 6 to 8 months and listening to our consumers. So I guess that's as important as the creative idea itself. Most of the time we fall in love with our own creative idea, but then constantly refining it with feedback there's nothing more powerful than that. The next one is on the way consumers, I'll skip this. The next one is on ways consumers search. And again, this is important because, today we are talking Gemini and ChatGPT, so many LLMs, but then it's great that we have that, and, it seriously improves our life. But at the same time, when it comes to beauty is a lot about engagement, education, and today consumers demand a lot more education from beauty than they had maybe a decade ago. So one of the things that I want to talk about is how we have powered with the AI a voice search on an app we have developed called Beauty Genius. This has been launched in the US a few months ago, and in the first couple of months we've already had conversations with about 500,000 consumers. And we also see that the click-to-buy rate of these consumers, for instance, is about 6 times higher than an average ad, for instance. And the time, therefore, that they spend on the website is a whole 4 or 4.5 minutes longer. So clearly, what this enables is how a company can use technology powered, and the latest, because everyone's talking about voice search. So how we use that and how we come up with a product recommendation, at the same time solve what the consumer is looking for. That problem solution part is
your new AI beauty assistant by L'Oréal Paris. Hey, Beauty Genius, how can you help me look refreshed? Beauty Genius, essential.
Start the conversation now.
So you can take a look when you have some time on how this works. But I think, this is the evolution of search, and this can also be, in one brand, across all brands. For instance, we have something similar on one of our new businesses that we have, which is Noli.com, which is based in the UK. So you can check that out, where you have a very, very detailed product recommendation basis, your skin concerns or any beauty concerns. And finally, I want to talk about hyper-commerce. And hyper-commerce becomes very, very interesting, like I said, with the entry of TikTok. And one of the things you see in social commerce is the fact it is the shortest consumer journey. So, 20 years ago, everyone spoke about word of mouth through, let's say, Amazon or multi-level marketing. And today, you see that happening instantly on social commerce. And then, so you have awareness, you have recommendation or word of mouth, and you have purchase, all within the same loop. And imagine that's the fastest consumer loop that you can see anywhere. So I'm going to show you an example from Garnier. Again, a couple of examples, one from Garnier, one from L'Oréal Paris. The first one is about how Garnier executed their first super brand day. And, you might as well listen to Davina.
So, I had such a hoot the last time I was on here. I've literally begged Garnier to let me come back and do another live show with Vicky behind me. I have got my bundle back on offer, so I'm going to be talking you through that, and we're going to be creating some carnage in here, so brace yourselves.
So it was not only Davina. So we had, you can see Jamie Lang, we had Sophie Habu, etc. So clearly, this is the era of beauty-tainment. So again, how do you weave what you stand for as a brand or as an industry with your surroundings and your latest surroundings? But you do it in a way which is totally coded to what you stand for. And I think this is where a lot of companies are fearful as well, that will my brand DNA change? But I think it requires a lot of effort to actually stick to your brand DNA and make it stronger with these new platforms. But then we went further, and this is the example that you see on screen, which is on L'Oréal Paris, and we did this end of last year, where we have a global fashion event called Les Défilés, which is held in Paris every year. But we used Piccadilly to bring our entire live stream alive there. And we had influencers with us, watching the défilé. At the same time, we had a huge conversion drive, again, on both Boots, which is which has both offline and online presence, and the Boots store is just below, the Piccadilly screens. So we had an activation there, and we had a simultaneous activation on TikTok. So this, again, was fabulous. What does this create? This creates a totally new experience for consumers. Okay, so that's where we are with the examples. But I'm usually questioned a lot on how do you continue to endure the spirit or to seize what has not started. And I would say that organization culture, organization structures are very, very important. So one of the things, and because we are entrepreneurial as a company, I guess it's easier. But one of the things we did to embrace this over the last 2 years is to create what we call an intrapreneurial team. So I had a team of about 6 people who had these crazy ideas, and we let them do it. We let them have the resources, whether they were teams or whether it was money. We let them take decisions, and sometimes we failed, but we failed fast. So I guess that a very, very important part is how do we structure to seize what has not started. Okay? So thank you very much for your time. Mary and me can let you go back to your ice cream, maybe.
Thank you so much, Manashi. That was really fascinating.
Thank you.
I've got a question for you, if I may. A lot of people who know me know that I was very much in the beginning of the influencer world, and I've got some skepticism about it and where it's headed. I wondered, because you've been such innovators in the space, and of course have been beneficiaries, I assume, of the growth in it.
Yeah.
What do you see as the short to mid-term future for the influencer?
No, it's clearly extremely authentic. And I think that, like I said, we don't want our brands, as consumers, we don't want our brands to talk down to us. And we also need, things which are authentic and make products more relevant to us. When they come from an influencer, it is a lot of reassurance, because it's somebody who is like you, who's speaking to you. So influencing is here to stay, for sure. But of course, there will be changes to the way we do it, I think, even as an industry. I also think that it's a great opportunity for talented, creative individuals, as a career opportunity as well.
Yep.
So it's an industry that's growing. There will be this time when, and I've seen it in Asia, because Asia, embraced advocacy long before Europe. So it will have a massive peak, and of course, then the quality of content and continuing the authenticity and not really succumbing to what you call a paid model is going to decide, who's going to survive in this world. So I would say that the core is to balance authenticity with relevance.
Absolutely. Thank you so very, very much. Put our hands together for Manashi. Thank you.